All right, and welcome back. We are going to dive into some of the functionality today. We're going to start with something super easy. I'm going to share with you how you can post a blog to your own website. So if you haven't watched the video on how to log in or the overview of the dashboard, I would recommend going back to that. But if not, here we go. So again, in the last video, I showed you the dashboard. We're not going to touch anything. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you how you can look at all your blog posts. So posts are what we use to describe blog posts or any posts where you're creating content regularly and posting it to a website. This is not a static page. This would be quote unquote publishing when you talk to your account manager or your project manager. If they suggest you publish regularly, publishing regularly will help you increase your visibility, improve your voice and what you're saying and clarify it. And it will also help you to distribute the types of content that is relevant based on that time period. In fact, if you publish daily, write a blog post daily, we can help you repurpose that through our repurposing machine. But right now, I just want to show you how to use posts on your WordPress website to publish blogs regularly. So again, we are on one of our clients' websites, George Coulter, great guy. He writes, here's the thing. Your site is your site. So we're going to see something today that George did that works. And I'm going to take some time and I'm going to improve upon it for SEO and some other things. So I'm going to go into posts. And here in your posts section, you see how this drops down in your left-hand menu in the back end of your website. Now you can see all posts, you can see add new, you can see the categories of posts, and you can add tags. Categories and tags are something we will go over later on. If you need to add categories or tags as you're producing, this should come out in your content strategy with your account manager. But for now, we're not going to worry about those. We're just going to worry about the add new and the posts that are existing. So as you can see, right now it says I'm the author. That is not necessarily the case. So what this means is in his users, and I'll go into users in a later video, I'm actually going to go in and make sure that the user that George has actually says it's him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this post that he created called I Am Frustrated Part 2. And I'm going to be able to edit it fully by clicking the edit button. It will open up in this window. But if I wanted to just make quick edits, I could click here. I can edit the title. I can edit the slug. What the slug is if I were to search for this in Google, I could go round pegs, I am frustrated. And let's see if it pops up. There it is. So this is your slug, right? Is up here. It's the URL. It's how it's going to show up in Google. That's what that slug means, okay? So when I go back in there, I can change this. I can change the publishing date. I can change who the author is. So for example, I'm going to change it to George. We can categorize it as uncategorized, or we can categorize it as ramblings. And I can allow comments and I can allow pings. And I can make it published. And I can make it sticky. So what that means is on my blog roll, if there's a blog roll, so where you see like most recent content, or if you have a blog page, you could make it sticky where it's essentially pinned to the top of the page. But we're not going to worry about that right now. I am going to update it so it shows that George wrote it. You see now that George is now the author. And then I'm going to go into edit, all right? Now, for those of you who are working with us where we are managing this whole back end, you will be working with somebody specifically, and they will show you how to format your articles to make sure that they get to us in the right format. For example, the post that George actually wrote is right here. And I reformatted this based on one way we would look at it. So you can see, hey, the title is I Am Frustrated. And this is actually the document that George sent over, is this PDF, okay? So the idea is that if you're sending it to our team, the formatting of it needs to be exactly as we are going to post it. So for example, I'm going to take you to another one of our sites over here quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So this is on BPOD. This is another one of our client sites where when we write this, this is ghostwriting. So we actually take some time and one of our writers writes this. This comes over in exactly this format with the links tied in, with the images formatted here, with the right caption underneath. And what this allows our team to do is to just take this document and drop it right into the blog and then format it to fit exactly the way you want. So for example, if this is the way George wants it, George, we will take that, and he actually created this himself. But what I'll do is I'm going to take that document and work off of that document to drop it in there. So I would always recommend you write it in a Word doc and save it somewhere else and not write directly into the blog post. But I just copied and pasted it. You can write directly in here, but I wouldn't recommend it. And I'm just going to delete the spacing. I'm frustrated part 2. I'm going to bold the things that he wants bolded. So up here by pushing bold. You can see most of the formatting is transferred over, but like if you wanted it in italics, I could highlight it, go italics. I'm not going to do that. If there were bullets, I could go, hey, put enter, push bullets and go ASDF. This is test, yada, yada, yada. Or I could make that a numbered list, right? Doesn't matter either way. We're going to get rid of those because that's not part of the post. The other thing, if you're going to hyperlink, so example, maybe COVID, maybe there's an article I want to share. I could paste the URL here. You know, and the big thing is with this is that since there is no, we're going to not do it. There's a whole bunch of tools you can play around with here. There's strike through, horizontal lines if you wanted it. You could change the text color. You could paste as text. You could clear the formatting. You could add special characters, indentations, all of this stuff. So if you're curious about this, go around, play with it. Essentially, it's all the stuff you can do in a word processor. The difference is that you're just building it in the back end of a website. So for example, if you wanted headings, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, or pre-formatted, it all works, okay? Now, the other thing is if I were to add an image, right? Let's just say I want to add an image in here. You can go to add media, and you can do it a couple different ways. So let's say I don't have exactly what I need, and I want to upload a file. I can go here, and then what I can do is I can literally just drag and drop a file from somewhere I need to be, or I can click and select it from my computer, wherever it is. You'll see it opens up just like everything else. All right, so, or in your media library, you've got exactly what you need here too. So with that being said, images here, we're gonna just grab one of these just so we've got it. We're gonna add this. Always make sure your images have alt text. So this looks like this is mastering the art of thinking differently package. That's for an SEO. If we wanted a caption, this is a caption. And you could add more description text, product images for mastering the art of thinking differently, okay? And go insert into post. And what we're gonna get is we're gonna get this image here. Now you'll see that this breaks things up. The caption shows up here. I can edit again, but I can change how this works. So I could put it over here where it's on the right side. I can put it on the left side. I can put it in line so it's in the center, or I can make it its own line on the right-hand side. I can also edit this image. So if I wanted it to be bigger, this is the size. I could add custom sizes here. So let's say maybe I wanted it to be 500 pixels, it'll automatically up to. If I wanted it to link, it could link to an attachment. Maybe you've got a video or something that you want it to link to, or maybe it links to a custom URL. The other thing here is that if you are borrowing pictures, you always need to attribute it to the source. That way you don't get sued, essentially is what it is. I think that's more or less, yeah, describe the purpose of the image, leave empty if that's the alternative text. So it's telling you how to describe the purpose of the image. The nice thing about WordPress and how we do it is they've got a whole bunch of accessibility stuff. And the reason you put alt text in is typically for ADA. So you're going to want to make sure that if somebody can't see, they use an alternative thing. So you need alternative text in there so they understand what that image is. So your dashboard has little links like this that you can open up. So I will update this, see how the image is bigger. There's still a caption. I can add to a caption. This caption is awesome. And I can hit enter, and now we're good to go. So I'm actually going to center this right here. That way we've got it. All right. So now we've got most of our content in here. We're going to link to this just because it's bpods.com. And make sure you hit this. So there it is. If I want to break the link, I can break it. But we'll link to it again. And if you want settings, URLs here, you can search if it's something on your existing website, you can search and find it here. You can also select if it opens in a new tab. Okay. So we're gonna preview the changes here, and what this will do is this will open up a preview window. See, it's not the exact live post, but it's going to show you what it looks like now. So on George's website, we have dark mode. So this image might not be the right fit. We might want to make it dark mode, or we might want to add a border to it. And you'll notice that the caption isn't showing up. So what that means is I will go back here and I will probably change this so that the color font is actually white. And if I hit preview again, it's going to update the preview. Typically, sometimes it'll take a couple times, but maybe it didn't update my color for me. Oh, it made it clear, not white. So we're actually seeing now it's white. So let's take a look. Maybe we have to edit to make sure that the caption shows up. So caption. So we'll have to take a look at this for you specifically on this site, but that'll happen. Those are simple things. That is a request that you should ping your account manager right away to deal with. But now you can get it. So I can edit, see if it's published, pending review, or drafted. This exactly is published. You can make it public. You can make it password protected or private. And then readability and SEO. So this is where now we've got our content here. Now the next thing that you got to understand, crash course on SEO, always have a keyword. Again, here's another link. Always make sure that your snippet is edited. This goes back to, again, what's going to show up in Google. That'll be in a different training, as well as you'll get an SEO analysis here, and it'll tell you some things. So links are good in there, key phrase length, meta description, all this stuff. Green is good. All right. Cornerstone content means like if this is cornerstone content for your website, as like this is there are branches that break off of this content for you. So all of these other details are things that you can use and look at. They're not necessary, but it's always good to look at. The other thing that you might want to look at, this is your tags and setting a feature image. This will when it's shared on social media or elsewhere. So for example, the same window will pop up when we add media. It's going to give me the images, and now, you know, I can select the same thing if I wanted, right? So all of those are little quick tips on this. If you've got further questions, please drop them in the comments below, and we'll update this for you as needed. But we'll make sure you know what you need to do. All right? So I hope this was helpful on creating a post. I suppose if you wanted to update it, remember, you can update it. You can always copy it to a new draft, all that stuff. It's like working within a word processor, only it's live on a website. So if you hit update and you need to go backwards, we can always go backwards. We can always shut it down and change it back, etc. So my rule of thumb is always get it out there. We can make edits later. So with that, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other questions on this, again, let us know. Thank you.